Yesterday, the hurricane hunters, they flew into that storm to gather some crucial data. So earlier today, the storm strengthened from a tropical depression to Tropical Storm Arlene, the first named storm of the season. For a storm to be considered a tropical storm, winds need to be between at least 40 miles per hour up to 73 miles per hour.
And joining us now is 53rd WRS Aerial Reconnaissance Weather Officer. We have Lieutenant Colonel Jeremy DeHart to discuss his trip into Tropical Storm Arlene. Always fun when we can talk to you guys, especially after such a journey. Let's talk about what you saw, what information you were able to gather, and really just your experience being what is now a tropical storm.
Sure. Wasn't too bad, to be honest. Of course, we're dealing with a very low-end tropical system, and I was the first mission to fly into it yesterday as an invest. And to be honest, when I had gone to bed the night before, I put it at less than 50% chance we were going to go out there just because it didn't look like it was doing a whole lot. And then lo and behold, the next morning, it had a lot more structure to it. So our mission went, and actually it was a lot more potent than I think a lot of us expected for an invest mission. And we ended up seeing strong enough winds and a closed circulation enough to upgrade it to a tropical depression at the time.
Right. It was Tropical Depression number 2 yesterday. Got to Tropical Storm Arlene today. But there are things that are working against Arlene, especially now that it's drifting to the south. We talk the water temperatures in the Gulf, but really it's that wind shear that's going to be carving through. How short-lived? When do you think that we see this thing really start to fall apart, in your opinion?
Yeah, that's right. We were seeing the wind shear yesterday as well, so it's kind of had to fight that off. A lot of the thunderstorm development was all on the northeast side of the storm, which is, indicative of the storm that's kind of being sheared apart. According to the National Hurricane Center forecast, it's kind of maximized its intensity window, it looks like, and according to them, probably in the next 24 hours as it drifts south across the Gulf, should start to fall apart and lose its tropical status.
Really best case scenario, especially as you consider how close it is to Florida, an area still recovering after the devastation of Hurricane Ian. So I'm curious too, you mentioned that flying into this as an invest, it kind of surprised you with how strong it was at that early stages in the infancy. Now we're expected to phase into an El Nino. You've seen the forecast numbers from the National Hurricane Center, Colorado State University. We're on the second day of the season, and here we are now with our first named storm. Do you have any of your own, predictions and sense of what you think this season could really hold for us?
Well, the hurricane hunters are primarily data collectors, so we try not to, predict too much. We leave that to the professionals at the Hurricane Center for seasonal forecasts. But yeah, you did mention it being an El Nino year. I know a lot of those forecasts are showing it. You typically have a slower tropical season in the Atlantic, but here we are, first, second day of the hurricane season with a tropical system out there. And so everyone knows that it really only takes one strong storm to have life-changing impacts. So we're ready to go regardless.
Yeah, and flying out of Biloxi, we know that actually, it has a major impact for those Atlantic storms that start up, but the Gulf can still see some quick, powerful storms just because of where that wind shear is at. So it could still be a season where you'll be doing plenty of flights. But we want to thank 53rd WRS Aerial Reconnaissance Weather Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Jeremy DeHart. Thank you for joining us here on Fox Weather.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great videos on the way, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all things weather.